hard to suffer from depression. But what I experienced is my family, my true forever family, they love me unconditionally. Broken, bruised, they love me. So my childhood was a lot different than most people's childhood. Very destructive, not a lot of good memories. Mental and physical abuse. The first time I can remember as far back as being 2, cigarettes being put out on my legs, dad holding a gun to our heads, dads doing things to kids that should never have been done. It's hard for me as a dad to look at my kids now and think that they ever had to go through that. That for one moment in their life, they felt unloved, unwanted, especially my daughter. I'll never get those 4 years back for her. It'll stay with her for the rest of her life. It's a part of her DNA. It's a part of my DNA from what I went through. You will never, ever forget that. When kids enter your home through the system, they are children. The whole labeling, calling them foster children, no, they're kids. That's just how we treated them. And little did we know that we were on the path to adopt Amaya and Makai and Grayson and Tristan. January 15th, 2009, that was the day Amaya and Makai came into our home. That Thursday night when I handed my husband Makai, and he looked at Makai, and Makai looked at him, Reese became a dad. About 4 months later, one evening after Reese and I had bedtime stories, Amaya, she looked at us and she said, I think I'm gonna call you Daddy and you Dada. That was the moment that I was a dad. No matter whether Amaya was gonna leave us the next day, because we didn't know, I was a dad. Within about 3, maybe 4 months, Tristan and Grayson arrived. We, even at that point, thought Amaya and Makai were going to be reunified with their parents. I mean, that was the goal. But we just treated them as our children. Makai has fetal alcohol syndrome. My youngest son, Tristan, came in as an infant that had been scarred from a knife. My son, Grayson, had bleeding of the brain, shaken baby syndrome, 3 broken ribs, and Amaya, who had been put in a playpen with a piece of plyboard over top of it as they threw Cheerios in. You'll never be able to erase that, and it will come up in times that you can never imagine. There are times that I will smell something that will trigger me from when I was a little boy, and that musty smell of my father's breath, because he was a heavy smoker and a heavy drinker, and it will just trigger me of that fear. My husband is absolutely the rock and glue of our family. He has no idea about abuse. He's never experienced that, and I'm so happy that he never experienced it. But our children and me, we have. I think at times people think I was that perfect person, that I actually got out of the system and made something of myself. No. 4 suicide attempts, drug overdose, drug addiction, depression, allowing people to abuse me because I felt that's what I deserved. That well that I was in for so many years was so deep, so dark. And even though there were so many people who kept throwing me a rope, I never saw that rope. I fell in that well a couple years ago. I'll never forget it. Reese was right there by my side. It was a hard time for our family. We kept it hidden because I was the guy that was all together and really, at first, tried to shield the kids. Why is Daddy sleeping so much? Why has Daddy not come out of his bed all day? But then the one thing that Reese and I had made a decision from the very beginning is that we would never lie to each other, to our children. So we told them. We told them in a way that a child could understand, but we told them. I think it was Tristan crawled into bed with me after school one day when again I couldn't get up. He needed his dad. And I needed him. And he made me feel that. He was one of those ones who helped me get out of that well. My kids know everything about my past. I don't want my kids to ever be ashamed, embarrassed of me, of my past, and also theirs. No, we're not the perfect family, but we're a family. I don't want to scare anyone away from the system. I don't want to scare anybody away from adoption. But what I want people to do is to do this with open eyes, to do it with understanding and unconditional love.